Good afternoon. Joining us for our June session in our Insights for Success series, How to Get Business from Any RFP, brought to you by B2G Victory and RFP School Watch. B2G Victory helps companies win government contracts by offering a suite of services for the entire life cycle of your government pursuits, whether that's certifications, actually doing business development, finding those proposals that you'll be getting from RFP School Watch, helping you with registrations, looking at processes and improvements, as well as one-on-one coaching. We've been doing this collectively for over 2 decades, and with a whole suite of services in different sectors and an annual total awarded value of $6.8 billion. You can join us on our podcast. You can join us on our YouTube channel, as well as recently we launched a membership portal that has all sorts of resources, frequently asked questions, glossary, and over 100 videos to help you win more contracts in the government space and increase your learning curve, decrease your frustration, and most importantly, increase the number of contracts. Today's session is recorded and it will be posted on our YouTube channel in the Insights for Success playlist. If you haven't joined us for any of our previous webinars in this series that started back in February, you can find all of those in the Insights for Success playlist, and that link is being dropped in the chat. We'd like to get to know you a little bit better, so please go ahead and put your contact information in the chat as well. I'm Julie Hartman, co-founder of B2G Victory, joined by Susan Repka, fellow co-founder, and Emily Kelly, project manager here at B2G Victory. Susan and I are going to be alternating back and forth to keep the engagement of this session going, as well as monitoring the chat and the questions and answers. Please put your company information in the chat, and Emily's going to drop ours in there as well. The 3 of us are supported by the remainder of the B2G Victory team, Dawn, Mark, and Bella. And now I'd like to turn it over to our fellow sponsor, Amy Ball with RFP School Watch.
Thank you, Julie. I'm so excited to be here today and so happy that all of you have joined us. We are here to empower our clients to win and are super excited to be partnering with B2G Victory. Here at RFP School Watch, we empower our clients to win in a few ways, and I'm going to go ahead and share those now, Julie. So here at RFP School Watch, a lot of our clients, they have really come to appreciate and enjoy the fact that their RFPs are centralized, that they can come here and get all of their RFPs in one place. We're monitoring K-12 schools, higher ed institutions, and state and local government offices across the U.S. and Canada every day. So it's just a great place to come and know that we're watching out for you and you're getting those alerts as they're posted daily. We're able to customize your accounts with many different, preferences and searching and filtering settings. So that helps to bring you relevant RFPs. And we send daily alerts as those are posted, as well as providing you with the bid documents you need to pursue those opportunities. So one of the other really cool things that we've added is our blog post. We're doing that weekly. And I wanted to share just a few of those blog posts that we've posted this past month. If you've not checked out our blog post, make sure that you do that. Let's see. So this past month, we have posted the recap from last month's webinar session. So what you can expect at that blog post at our blog page every month is that recap from the previous month's webinar session. So you can check that out. If you missed last month's session, you can see a recap there and access those links to last month's webinar as well. We also post market insights every week on our blog, so you can check that out. Just as an example, last month, we posted market insights for architecture and engineering companies. We also did a post on the power of identifying pain points and how to turn those into opportunities for you. And then finally, we also did another market insights on information technology. So something that you can, kind of keep an eye on our blog page is those market insights, best practices. And these, like I said, these webinar sessions, kind of like a recap every month. So if you've not checked that out, check that out. We're super excited again to be here today and to learn more about how to get business out of any RFP. So thank you so much, Julie and B2G Victory. If you have not registered for samples, make sure you do that today. They're going to drop links into the chat section over there. And also, if you're ready to get going and want to receive these daily opportunities that are relevant to your services and products, make sure that you register using that Web 10 promo code. They're going to drop in that link as well. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you, and I look forward to working with you. Thanks, Julie.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks, Amy. And thanks for co-sponsoring this with us. And thanks for the generous offer to get free samples. And those free samples that you'll be able to get from RFP School Watch will help you with other opportunities in putting together your proposal library. And then that Web 10 code, Amy, that is what is the discount that they get if they go ahead and sign up with y'all?
Yeah, so they will get 10% off their first annual subscription. And something else I love to do for my clients whenever they sign is I love to go back for the past 30 days and pull any open bids that they may have missed. So while we're getting them set up with their customized account, they're able to get started immediately. So that's awesome. What that's for.
So getting the samples or going ahead and signing up with the Web 10 code, getting that 10% discount, getting those previous samples plus being in today's session will help you get business from any RFP and get you ahead of the competition to win your next contracts. So we're going to talk about 4 things today in terms of getting business from any RFP: developing your winning strategy, subcontractor opportunities, a pre-bid conference, and leveraging your certifications. So we really want this session to be as engaging as possible. So please drop your questions in the Q&A chat. Emily and Susan and I will be alternating, as well as Amy, responding to your questions in that. And then helpful links will be in the chat. So put your questions in the Q&A, look in the chat for other links. And then we're small businesses and entrepreneurs too. And it's really important for us to make sure that you got value out of today. So as we're going through the content, we really want y'all to focus on what are some things I can do today from today's session, right? And turn that into actions, which ultimately will lead to your success and your victory plan. So think about, as we go through it, what is something that you can do this week, maybe by the end of this quarter, in Q3 or Q4. So you're setting not only long-term, but short-term goals. Like we said, the recording of today's session will be available on our YouTube channel in that playlist. Emily's dropping in that chat as well. And then make sure that you put the questions and answers in the Q&A, because we update the frequently asked questions section of our portal. So we want to make sure that our questions that we're answering to everyone are relevant and help you win more contracts in the government space. So what is a winning strategy? So this is the first section that we're going to talk about. Well, a winning strategy really starts with defining what is your win, right? And there's a couple different wins in addition to obviously winning that contract and getting, the signature on the bottom line. So we're going to talk about a few of these. A learning opportunity. Maybe you're new to the K through 12 space, or maybe you're new just to the government space as a whole. Or maybe you've been in both of those spaces for a while, but you're looking to expand maybe outside of your specific town or your region. Gaining competitive intel. These sample bids that RFP School Watch sends over allows you to get a ton of competitive intel, not only for who's playing in your immediate sandbox, who's your competition, but as well as the types of things that agencies are looking for, and then you can score yourself. Getting your foot in the door, right? Awareness is really important in this space. A win might be just getting to the presentation, right? Or teaming, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the different types of agreements with a subcontractor and a prime, right? So where do you even start to figure out if this is the right RFP? Well, here's an exact example from RFP School Watch, right? So these are the bids that will be coming into your email address when the opportunity arises. And so for an example, this one is for security services. And so there's the institution. So that's the City of Burlington Board of Education, and that's in New Jersey, right? So maybe if one of your company goals is to, do work in New Jersey, well, now this is a good fit. So then you'll click on the link, right, the bid title, and that will take you, or the institution, and will take you to the exact bid, right? So now we're going to open up the bid and we're going to look. So now we can see the bid opening date is June 29th. So this was, a sample bid. So obviously, it would be a bit difficult to whip together a bid in 2 days. So that goes back to a winning strategy, right? If the timing doesn't work, it's not worth going after. So as you're looking at the bid and you're going through the different pages, does it make sense even to go forward? And we call that a go, no-go decision. And on our membership portal is this go, no-go matrix. So this helps you not only quantify, but qualify why you're pursuing this opportunity and reinforces what is the win. So we're going to go through the bid factors on the proposal and score yourself. And maybe you know the competition, maybe you don't, but back to getting those bids from RFP School Watch, you'll be able to go and see historic awards and who your competition is, right? So then you go through it. Are you known by the client? Is this the first time you've heard of the procurement? Technical capability and position? Do we have the team to do it? Are subcontractors needed? Or if we don't have the technical capabilities or the time to put together to do this on our own, can we be a subcontractor? Another way to get business from any RFP. Just because you can't do the lion's share of the work doesn't mean that you don't get a check, right? What is the financial potential? How does that fit with my overall business growth strategy? And can we respond with a complete and compelling proposal? And then who are our competitors, right? So then you'll just kind of work through this matrix on a 1 to 10 scale, and then you'll score yourself. And then down at the bottom, a total score of factors evaluated. What is the maximum potential score? And then there's 2 different decision points here that you can look at. Should the score be greater than 75 or higher? Then we're going to go with it. Or do we score higher than the competition, right? So these are some things to help you with a qualitative as well as a quantitative analysis to help you and your firm make a decision on whether you're going to go through it, right? And if you have questions on the proposal, right? So back to, is the win a learning opportunity? So here are proposal questions, and it gives you the date and time. Now you can email that person and ask, these questions within this time to help you make the decision. And at any point in time, if it doesn't make sense for your company to move forward, go ahead and stop, right? It's not worth your company's reputation. So here, back to getting business from any RFP, this RFP was specifically for this opportunity, but here you can see that the Durham Public Schools in this North Carolina example puts their bids on a state website, right? So now I can, because of this one RFP for this opportunity, leads me to the state of North Carolina, which might open up additional places in North Carolina that I want to grow, or additional opportunities. And I can search for other open bids. I can also search by category. I can search by departments. And you can also go to the purchases and contracting website and see examples of awarded bids, who they were awarded to, what the scope was, and what that contract was. Emily's going to drop that link for the state of North Carolina in the chat. And we're just using a variety of different examples for you to do. So if you got a bid opportunity from RFP School Watch for Houston Independent School District, here's an example of HISD solicitation pages. So here are the current bid opportunities. You can also look for historic bid opportunities, and any bid that you get will tell you where to go on their page, right? So maybe you want to do some intel. Back to what is a win is getting competitive intel to allow you to know if this makes sense for you to continue in this space. Some school districts, for example, HISD, has an approved vendor list. So now I can see and go look for who else is a vendor for HISD that is providing either the exact same or similar goods and services. So the HISD approved vendor list link is going to get dropped in that box. And so, like I said, we're trying to give you a variety of different agencies all across the nation, so you can see, and each agency has their own database. So in HISD, that looks a little bit different than the state of North Carolina. And here's the approved vendor list. So if I know the vendor name, I can put it in there, or you can search by your NIGP codes, right? And all of you should know your NIGP codes and your NAICS codes, and that will also help you get additional work from any RFP when you're registering your company in these databases, because you might, when Amy sends you over these sample bids, you might have missed the deadline, right? Or it might have been awarded last year, but it's coming up for renewal. So as an action item, you want to go and register yourself and your company in this directory for a couple reasons. One, this is where that agency is going to go to for formal and informal opportunities, which we talked about in a previously recorded webinar that Emily and Susan did. That's on our YouTube channel in the playlist. But so that'll give you opportunities for formal and informal, and primes go there as well, and you can see your competition. So we just put in a vendor that we helped win an HISD contract, Tier 1 Learning. And so you can see here, I put in Tier 1, that these are all of the vendor names that have Tier 1, or tier, excuse me, I just put in the word tier. And as you can see at the bottom, there are 4 contracts that were awarded to Tier 1 Learning. And then you can see when those contracts expire as well. So once again, you are being able to work strategically in your business development, capture management pursuits of contracts in order to win them. And then you can expand. I wanted to show you an example of a college, right? So we've got a couple different examples here. So here's San Jacinto College, their website, purchasing and bidding opportunities. So when you get those sample bids from Amy, you can go directly to that agency's website. So for example, San Jacinto College, awarded solicitations, right? So let's see what types of contracts have previously been awarded and who they've been awarded to. Once again, you can get business from any RFP because it's all knowledge to help you in your next RFP. So here's awarded solicitations from September 2022 to August 2023, and it's grouped by year. So I click specifically on landscaping. Here is the actual purchase request to the board meeting. And obviously this is passed, but this resource personnel, if you provide landscape services, these are the resource personnel with San Jacinto Community College that are involved in landscaping. You can now email them after you've set up your vendor registration on their website and call them and talk about additional opportunities for San Jacinto College, whether they're formal and informal. Continuing on this award section with San Jacinto College is the bid tabulation. And this is a gold mine to help you win more contracts and to get business. So with those sample bids that Amy's going to send you, then you can do a bid tabulation request, right? If it's passed, if that is indeed a school district or a government agency that you want to do work with. So here it is. This is the name of all of the competitors, these sections that they asked you to work on. So when you're working on your proposal library, you need to make sure that you have sections and content in these sections. So do you have references? Do you have a section that talks on safety? Do you have a section that talks about your approach? So just because this is a past proposal and a past award, now I know what I need to do from this RFP in my future RFP library so I can respond better and faster and win more work. As you go through this, you can see how each firm scored on the different campuses as well as what their price was. So very, very helpful information in regarding intel on who your competition is, how they're scoring, how they're pricing. So performance indicators. How do you win? Well, we need to make sure we're capturing what we're winning. So there are two big indicators in this space that we like to encourage companies to look at is what is your win rate, which is your number of bids won over the number of bids submitted, and then your capture ratio, which does it in terms of dollars. So the value of the bids that you've won divided by the value of your bids submitting. So back to working harder, working smarter, not harder. So when you're looking at any RFP, whether you go for it or not, will help your win rate and your capture ratio, as well as top teams in this space go beyond just tracking those two. Here are some other examples of things that you can put in your metrics to see how your success rates are winning. So these are just some additional metrics to help identify pain points, areas of improvement, or your entire capture management strategy as a whole. Your school district size, the speed, and all of that. And we just want to make sure that sometimes this is a sprint and sometimes this is a really, really long marathon. So as you're getting any RFP, think about how that fits into your business schedule. This is an example of an RFP that we helped the client win. It was released on April the 27th, 2020, and it was awarded to them on January 5th, 2021. And then we were able to get the bid tabulation and the debrief in February. So maybe one of the action items that you've got on how to win business from any RFP is to go back and look at all of the bids that you did win. Did you go back to that agency and ask for a debrief and a bid tabulation? If you didn't, those are some quick wins that you can do, like I said, either today, this week, or on Monday morning. So now it will help you win more RFPs so you can see exactly where you are, not only in the pricing range, but as well as those other criteria that you're going to be scored against. So scoring, right? Each evaluation, each proposal has either evaluation criteria or scoring. And so you want to, when you're doing that go, no go, look at how you're going to evaluate yourself. And this is the mirror test and your competitors, if you know them. And if you're not the cheapest price, then don't go down in price. Look and see if it's competitive, but score yourself and your competitors and review your scoring, identify where your areas are that you might need to beef up, or where you might need to find a subcontractor. Or if your scoring isn't where you think it should be or high enough, once again, to proceed as a prime, then you can go and be a subcontractor. And we're going to talk about that as well. All righty, so we're going to switch. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat. And Susan is going to come up and talk about how do you look at subcontracting opportunities.
All right. So there are a lot of different ways that you can win a government contract. Of course, you can win as the prime, where you hold the contract, or you can come in as a subcontractor. And how, so we're going to talk a little bit about what that means. So a prime contractor that has won a government bid, again, they're going to be the one that holds that contract. But they may need some support. Maybe they can't do the entire scope. Or maybe that entity says you must subcontract out to a certified company. So they could have one, they could have three, they could have 5 to 7 different subcontractors, depending on the scope of that contract. So as you're looking at the RFP and you think, I can't do anything. I can do this small section. Well, then you can be a subcontractor. So one of the easiest ways to kind of picture this in your head is to think in the construction world. All right, your general contractor or the project manager holds that contract. They're responsible for the overall completion of whatever building they're building or remodeling. They are responsible for being the single point of contact to that government entity. And they are also responsible for all of the reporting that has to be done. A subcontractor, your painting and sheetrock company, they come in and their responsibility to do their piece of scope of work and to send in their invoices to that project manager. When their scope is done, they're done and they're out and they move on to the next project. Whereas the general contractor is still supervising and overseeing that entire project. So has anyone ever submitted as a subcontractor? So you're going to drop that in the chat. Would love to hear about that. So let's talk about some more different responsibilities. So this general contractor, they're going to be responsible for the project success. Overall, whether it's work that they are self-performing or work that their subcontractor is performing. They get to manage all of these subcontractors as well as the schedules. Make sure everything is getting done on time and that next subcontractor that has to come in and do their scope is ready to perform after the one that's previously in there, or they may be working multiple ones at the same time. They're responsible for collecting all of the invoices from the subcontractors and then invoicing the contract holder, that government entity. They're making sure that they have the necessary insurance as well as if the subcontractor has to have insurance. Again, they are the primary contact with that government entity. They're going to be providing those project updates, as well as if it does have small business goals, that small business reporting. The subcontractor, they come in, they do their scope of work. If they need to provide their insurance to that prime, they're going to invoice that prime. They, of course, have to do a good job, and they have to be a team player. That's their responsibility. Now, how do you determine if you can do any of this work, if you can be a subcontractor? You need to go through the scope of services or the statement of work, however that is listed in your RFP or your RFQ. Review it, because maybe this prime has reached out to you to do one piece of the scope, but you can actually perform multiple pieces of the scope. So when you have that discussion with the prime, you know what? I can do A, and I can do A really well, but I also can do G and H. So that prime may say, you know what, if I'm working with you already, it makes sense for you to do A and G and H. So that's one less subcontractor that I'm having to work with. As a subcontractor, please make sure you read the entire RFP, not just the scope of work, because you want to make sure that whatever insurance or bonding that the subcontractor has, you have that in place. You need to make sure that all of what you're doing is in your letter of intent from that prime. They should be providing you with a letter of intent. If they win the contract, you're going to be their prime and you're going to be doing this scope of work. Do not go outside of that scope of work without a change order. So again, pull it from the RFP. It should read exactly like that that's in the RFP. Now, the cool thing about this, these checks, they cash the exact same way. In Julie's previous life, she actually owned a marketing company, and they were the prime on some contracts, and they were the subcontractor on others. She will tell you that they had a higher profit margin on their subcontracting opportunities because they didn't have to deal with all of the other administrative type things that went on with that contract. So, you know, you get your work, you do the work, you get paid, you move on. So if you are looking to do subcontracting work, so these are some of the things that a prime contractor may request from you: a W-9, insurance, any certifications, small business certifications, or certifications that are industry related. They should be giving you a letter of intent. Any licenses that you hold, let's say you're an engineer, you have to provide your engineering license, and a firm profile. They need to know about the company. If you're marketing, you know, you could give them your capability statement. They may come back and ask you for your key personnel resume. When they're putting their proposal together, they want a resume of everyone that's going to be on that project. So they need those people from your company that will be on that project. They might want to include past performance for your company, especially if you've worked for that government entity in the past. They're going to want to include that. Make sure you're responding promptly. Because, you know, they may have 24 to 36 hours to get this together. And if you're saying, oh, I can get that stuff to you next week, and I'm like, you know, that's past the deadline. We need it quickly. So you can put some of this together ahead of time. With the state of Texas, there are goals of doing business with small businesses. HISD has goals of doing business with small business. Fort Bend ISD has goals. There are other school districts across the United States that have put together a small business program or an MWBE program, minority and women-owned businesses. So there are goals that are in those contracts. These prime contractors have to meet. So they're looking for certified companies that have whatever certification that government entity is asking for. So to know some of that information ahead of time is going to help you target some of these primes with your certifications. So again, this is an example of the state of Texas and the different goals that they have based on the industry. So kind of know your school district that you were targeting, see if they have a small business program, see if they have a MWBE program, what certifications that they accept. So you can do all of that ahead of time. So again, you know their targets. Once you know the targets, hey, look, I'm going to go to one of these pre-bid meetings. I'm going to meet some of these prime contractors. Well, Julie's going to come and talk about being prepared.
And Tia asked a question in the Q&A, and Susan set us and Tia up perfect for this section of where do you find these prime contractors? How do you find them? How do you get in front of them and say, hey, I can do this scope and I'm prepared to do that scope. So if you've ever attended a pre-bid meeting, whether that's virtual or in person, go ahead and put that in the chat. We'd love to hear if you've ever done one of those. They are a wealth of information. Once again, you know, when you go and you fill out the form and get those sample bids from RFP School Watch, or if you're an active client and you're getting bids in your inbox, make sure to, even if it is a voluntary pre-bid meeting, that you go. That is, in your mind, every pre-bid meeting is mandatory. So why would I need to go to these pre-bid or pre-conference meetings, and who's there? Well, the people that are there are the actual buyers of this contract. And guess what? Those buyers buy other things. And guess what? I'm sure you also provide other things. So that pre-bid meeting, like I said, whether it's virtual or in person, helps you establish that relationship and also helps you get work from any RFP, and you're able to find other opportunities in addition to that specific one that you're looking for. That small business liaison officer, Susan gave you a great example with the state of Texas that has these goals. And these hub coordinators, or this small business liaison officers, or these SBE specialists, they're called a couple different things in different agencies. That is their goal. So if you qualify as a small business or a minority-owned business or a woman-owned business, their job, and they have goals, and you can work together to hit them. Prime contractors, right? These are primes, these big companies that are interested in these contracts. So when Amy sends you these sample bids, maybe these bids are already closed, and that's fine, because now you know from that sample bid that you can go back to that agency's website. You can go and look at closed opportunities. You will be able to download that exact RFP. If there was a pre-bid meeting, who attended that pre-bid meeting, then you can go through that, look at your intel, your competitive intel, or opportunity intel. Who are those prime contractors that you want to go and target? So then from that RFP allows you not only to get business with that exact agency, but opens up opportunities with other prime contractors and then other subcontractors. Maybe two businesses want to go together, right? And so I encourage you to go and look at these pre-bid meetings for active as well as past clients. And just kind of to summarize this whole slide in this point, is it's all about that ultimate win, which is the contract. But don't forget your other two wins along the way. So I encourage you to set, you know, your primary win, but your secondary and tertiary win for every single pursuit, so you don't get discouraged or you don't get overwhelmed. And remember, we're here to help, and the team at RFP School Watch is here to help as well. So what does that pre-bid, pre-proposal, pre-submittal conference look like? Well, here's an example on an agency's page that says exactly when the RFP opened. So it opened on July 18th. Then this was a teleconference pre-bid. So it'll give you the exact information with the login. And here, once again, is the buyer, the office of the purchasing agent, right? So now if this isn't the right fit for you, this opportunity, you know that Jared is the buyer, because every single agency's buyers are divided by the different products and services that they procure. So he's your guy, right? And now I can see on this website when I need to submit questions, right? And then the ultimate deadline for submission. So when I'm going through this RFP, look at your schedule, right? And does this RFP make sense for me to go after? And before you go to any pre-bid meeting, make sure that you've reviewed the RFP. That will definitely help differentiate you from the competition, and especially if you're interested in doing subcontracting opportunities, will make a positive first impression with that prime contractor. So I'm interested in this pursuit. I'm ready, and I have the capability and capacity to fulfill these specific scope items in the RFP. And then make sure that you ask them that when do they want the staff, because Susan showed you the slide of all of the things that the primes request. So back to being prepared. If you have that information in your proposal library, you can make time in your schedule to get that to them in a timely fashion. I want to reiterate, whether you're reviewing a current RFP or previous RFP, grab some highlighters and get into the practice of, if it has anything that impacts your price, to go ahead and highlight it in green. Maybe you need some additional insurance. Maybe they're asking for you to receive payment net 45 or net 60. Okay, well, do I need to adjust my price? Because that definitely impacts my cash flow. Questions. Use this opportunity to ask questions about the types of services or the products or the scope that they're asking for. And we like to encourage you to put that in orange, right? Because typically, if you're asking a question on this opportunity and you can learn from it, then you will be prepared to get business from either this RFP or any future RFPs because you're prepared. Yellow, we encourage you to use for just things that you have to do. You as the CEO of your company, you as the business development lead for your company, or whatever your role is. So then once again, you know, not only for this RFP, but for future RFPs, these are the types of things that you're going to need to do. Or if you want to be proactive, these are the types of things that you need to do for this first one. And then you can delegate accordingly amongst your team, right? So if it's a quick turnaround, then you can block off time in your schedule. We're huge time blockers here. So when you're going to this pre-bid meeting, in addition to being prepared and reviewing the opportunity or the bid, you want to make sure that you have a capability statement, because this will help set that stage as well. And on your capability statement, you want to make sure to have your codes, your NIGP codes and your NAICS codes. Because remember, when I showed you HISD's website and you were able to look for approved vendors, they had the option of looking for your NIGP codes or your NAICS codes. So you want to make sure that you know what your NAICS codes are and your NIGP codes, but what those numbers mean as well. And I want to challenge you a step further, is I want you to prioritize these codes, not in numeric order and not in alpha order either. Prioritize these and list them in the order of the business that you want to do or the scope of work that you're going to be performing, okay? Or prioritize them and rank them in the opportunity growth that you want to take in your company. Very, very important to do it that way versus in numeric order, because that'll help you grow your business faster. Okay, and then it'll also help you when RFPs come across, when you're doing your no-go, when you're doing your go-no-go, then you can look at that list and say, okay, where does that fall in our NAICS code priority list? Here's another example of a capability statement. We just wanted to show you a variety of different companies and emphasize that your capability statement really needs to cater to your company and your branding. Here's an example of a before capability statement. And an after, Emily's going to put the bookings link for us in the chat. And if you're interested in having us help you out with the capability statement, go ahead and book a time on our schedule. Susan's right back to talk about another way that you can get business from any RFP, which is leveraging your certifications.
All right, before we do that, I'm going to flip back a couple of slides and I want to show you something. All right, so this is Wilson Unlimited. And why I'm kind of bringing this up. When we did Wilson's, Dwight's capability statement, he had just started his company. Now, you see that kind of those big numbers, that 110 projects, 26 years of experience. But wait a minute, I just said he had just started his company. Well, we used his owner's experience, his past experience. His capability statement states that this is the owner's experience. So you may be a new company. That doesn't mean you can't showcase your past experience as long as you clearly state it on your capability statement. So I know we get asked that a lot. Oh, I'm a new company. I don't have any of these. I haven't done 110 projects. I've been open for 3 months. Well, he was actually open for 3 months when we did that. So I just kind of wanted to show you that in case you are a new company. All right, so now we're going to talk about certifications. This has been my world for a number of years. And there are many different certifications that you can get. And we call it the certification alphabet soup. So you can be veteran-owned, service disabled veteran-owned, 8A, small business, SBE, hub zone, which is based on your geographic location, or if you're in the state of Texas or North Carolina, you can be hub, historically underutilized business. You can be a WBE, which is a women-owned business, an MBE, which is a minority-owned business. Hey, you can actually be both if you're a woman who is a minority. So all of these different certifications, it can be overwhelming. So one of the things that we do at B2G Victory is if we sit down with you and we sort of prioritize what certifications are the best fit for your company. So what does certification mean? Well, it means that you are 51% owned, operated, and controlled by a veteran, a woman, a minority. And it shows that not only do you have clear ownership, you're running the company, and you have the legal control. Also, most certifications require that you do not exceed the small business size standard so that you are qualified as a small business. Small doesn't always mean small. I think an engineering company can have a 5-year average of $15 million. I'll take that small any day. All right, so what do you do with this certification? All right, I have this. I used to, like I said, this has been my world for many years. I'd go out and I'd visit with a company that had gotten their certification, maybe 2 years down the road and say, okay, what have you done with it? It's pretty, it's hanging on their wall, and that's all they've done with it. So I like to tell people it's not wall art. All right, so school districts may have goals. Most states have small business goals. Federal has goals that they have for women-owned businesses, economic development, disadvantaged businesses, veteran-owned businesses, 8A. So all of this means is they're trying to do business with different sizes of companies. So they want their supply base to be as diverse as their, in case of a school, the students that go to that school. So HISD has their goals in their, on each RFP, on their website. They clearly state what those goals are. 20% for purchasing of goods and non-professional services, 20% for construction over 50,000, and 25% for professional services over $50,000. So if a company is submitting a bid to HISD, they're responding to something, they need to make sure that they they have subcontractors that can help meet those goals. Fort Bend has a small business program, which is race and gender neutral. So it is based on the size of the company. So they have a 25% goal, and they actually have exceeded their goal. So they just had a new bond. So there are lots of opportunity in the construction industry for Fort Bend ISD. So let's step out of Texas for just a minute. And I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, so I'm not even going to try.
Osceola.
I'm sorry?
Osceola.
Osceola. Okay, I did try. There we go. So they have a small business and a veteran-owned business program. So again, that is who they're looking to ensure that they're doing business with. So each of their RFPs will have a goal based on the availability of businesses that have the requirement. Clark County in Las Vegas, Nevada has a MWBE program. So they're looking to do business with minority and women-owned businesses. So how do you kind of find these? You're going to have to go out and look. So you're going to go either have your top 5 and you're looking to see what programs they have. You can always search for those programs. Just do a Google search on those schools and do they have a small business program? All right, so as we move to from certifications, another thing that certifications can help you with, but also these cooperative purchasing programs that school districts all across the US use can also help you win business, because they take these smaller school districts that don't have very large procurement departments, and they run all of their RFPs and RFQs through the co-op as opposed through each of the schools. So Kerrville ISD, they talk about their co-ops, what co-ops that they use. So some of the advantage, and I pulled this from the Texas, but you're going to find this with every state. These allow these school districts and other local organizations to sort of pre-negotiate their contracts. So when you submit for a co-op, you're providing your pricing up front. So these schools or municipalities know the pricing, and so you can actually be awarded business through a school without having to rebid it. You've already bid, your pricing is there, and they also are providing you a list of all of the members, all of the school districts, government entities that utilize that, so that you can market to them. You can send them your capability statement so that they know who you are when they get ready to look through that list. So here's a couple of them. TIPS is a national co-op. You have 10,700 different government entities, school districts, municipalities, cities that are members of TIPS. So those 10,000, this is where they go to find a small business, to find a supplier, a vendor, when they get ready to purchase anything, because they know they're going to get the best pricing. ANY Cooperative Service has 6,000 educational institutions that are looking for products and services across the US. This is just like responding to an RFP directly from a school district. It's the same process. So this allows you to do this quicker. You're already in their database. All right, so any questions that you have before Julie comes in and closes us out?
We hope that we have been able to, in this hour together, help you understand different ways that you can get business from any RFP, whether that is addressing your winning strategy, looking for subcontracting opportunities, what you can do at a pre-bid conference, as well as leveraging your certifications. So, we really wanted to make sure that you left here with at least 3 to 4 takeaways, because we value your time. And, one of those takeaways can be, receiving the samples from RFP School Watch. And I'm going to let Amy share a few closing thoughts here.
Hi, Julie. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the information you guys brought today. It was awesome. We serve our clients as a valuable source of relevant bid opportunities, and we would love to work with y'all. We want to be able to, provide you with those bid opportunities so that you too can win business from any RFP. So with that said, if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. If you want samples, be sure to register for samples over there using that link that they've provided. And if you're ready to start accessing these daily bid opportunities, use that link to activate your plan, and be sure to use that promo code whenever you activate the subscription of your choice. We'd love to work with you. So thank you so much for attending today.
And remember that the Web 10 code gets you 10% off your annual subscription. So if you're ready to get bids today, right now, then go ahead and use that Web 10 code. And we do help. There was a question from Yvonne. Do you help write the actual RFP? And this is the great synergy between the two companies, RFP School Watch and B2G Victory. RFP School Watch sends you the bids, and we help you respond to it. And so that's another reason why we do a lot of great work together. We're putting together this Insights for Success series. And if, maybe it's a Saturday afternoon and you're wanting to work on a bid and you've got questions, we encourage you to sign up for the Victory portal. Where, like we said, there's tools and there's templates to help you respond and write your RFP. There are samples and all sorts of videos that have relevant questions. We've got a launch code, so make sure to enter that, and you can sign up for the year. You get about 50% discount. We just wanted to reiterate as well that this video and all of the other videos in this series are posted to the B2G Victory YouTube channel under the Insights for Success playlist. We have a goal, right? Everybody's got goals. Everybody wants to win. We'd like to get to 500 subscribers. So please, subscribe. And then not only next month's video will be posted here, but we're doing this Insights for Success session all the way through the end of the year. So we want to make sure that you get notified when new videos are uploaded as well. And speaking of the other sessions for the remainder of the year, we've got one on Thursday about systems to manage profitability and financials part 2. If you didn't come to part 1, that's okay, because that's up on our YouTube channel. And then we've got the July, August, and September seminars. So we'd love to have you back. Emily's dropping the links for all 4 of those seminars in the chat. Once again, we'd love for you to reach out either to us or to Amy and Jill and Rick, the team at RFP School Watch, to help you find opportunities as well as respond to them. We want your thoughts. We would love for you to please fill out this post-event survey. We are developing the content for the upcoming seminars. We also do other seminars with other government agencies. So we want your feedback of other things that you're having challenges with. What are your other pain points? What did you get as the most value out of this session? Let us know, because there are other businesses just like you that are looking to grow their company in this space. So Emily dropped in that survey. So please take a few extra minutes out of your schedule and complete that survey for us, maybe before you even leave us this afternoon. Once again, this is the B2G Victory team. We're here to help you, and the session has formally ended here at 1 o'clock, but we're more than happy to stay on for a few extra minutes if anybody has any specific question that we weren't able to get to today, or maybe if you'd like to unmute yourself and share that that big one or two things that are going to help you win your next RFP?
Raise your hand.
Go ahead and raise your hand. Andrew Smith